everybody, and welcome to the Bob Stoops app. I'm Brad McMullen, along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops. This week's show brought to you by our good friends at Sustainable Solutions. If you want great air quality, choose Sustainable Solutions. Also, Rock and Roll Tequila, perfect for any time of year. And BFAC.com, the #1 mobile app builder in the state of Oklahoma. All right, Coach, it is week number 9, and we're doing this remotely again. If people are not familiar where you are right now on vacation, tell us a little bit about the beautiful view you have.
Oh, man, I'm in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, God's country, just beautiful. And had the first snow of the year just 2 days ago. And it's snowing again today, just beautiful. You got a few pictures from to show, I'm sure, but it's an amazing place. But anyway, so I've been lucky to be out here almost 2 weeks. So just enjoying it on the off week for OU, and looking forward to watching our Sooners again this weekend.
Well, enjoy your vacation, and we look forward to having you back here in the studio. All right, let's talk about the big games out there coming up this week. Oklahoma at Iowa State. The Vegas line, Oklahoma favored by just 1 point. A number of other lines have it as a you pick 'em. This is a game that both teams must win.
Yeah, no doubt. But hey, I feel good about the way the Sooners played this 2 weeks ago. With Dylan Gabriel back and getting on, playing. We ran the ball well, threw it well. I think my opinion, we'll keep that momentum going. Iowa State, every game's been tight. Every game's been close. Very good football team. So I see it a close game, of course. But I'm, of course, going to pick our Sooners to win and cover that.
Yeah, I agree. Iowa State is a sound football team. We know they're one of the best teams coached, if you will, best coached teams in the country year in and year out. But I agree with you. I think Oklahoma, personnel-wise, they're getting healthier. They're getting guys back. We saw the offense explosion against Kansas, and I think they're gonna play really, really well on the road. I love Oklahoma at Iowa State.
A little known deal about that too. John Haycock, the D coordinator that everyone talks about, how well they play defensively, coached at Youngstown State for a long time with Jim Tressel and my uncle that I'm named after. My Uncle Bob coached with John Haycock for a long, long time at Youngstown State. And he's done a great job there at Iowa State.
He's done a fantastic job. And if you look, again, at their week in and week out games, their defense has been the bright spot of their season. All right, TCU at West Virginia. TCU favored by only a touchdown. Is this a trap game, Coach?
You know what? I thought TCU was going to get trapped last week, and they didn't. So I don't see them being trapped. I see TCU winning this and winning it, and covering that. That's just my opinion. I think they're playing great. They got momentum. West Virginia has struggled overall. So I don't know. I thought last week West Virginia was going to be trapped, and they fought through it. So I say no.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that. And let me say this. TCU was down by 20 points against Kansas State last week. So you were right for the first 3 quarters of the game. So don't feel too bad. They just left off about 30 unanswered.
I really did. I thought that was the game that might get them. And, hey, more power to them. They fought through it. Good for them.
Yeah, I'm not a gambler, but I love that line if you're a TCU fan. 7 points, not too shabby. All right, Oklahoma State on the road at that same Kansas State team who gave up 30 unanswered points to TCU last week. Kansas State favored by 1.5 points over the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Wow, that's surprising. I'd take Oklahoma State.
I agree.
I don't know. Spencer Sanders makes plays. They fought through some tough games, came back against Texas the way they did. That was big. Just watching it, I was very impressed the way they came back, fought through it all, and won the game. So I think they'll build on that.
Yeah, and I think Oklahoma State's been the most consistent team, really, in the Big 12. Because even TCU, even in some of their wins, they didn't play well in all those games, right? The Kansas State game where they were down big, and against Oklahoma State where they were down as well. Oklahoma State has looked really, really good, and I think they're going to zero in and do really well at Kansas State. I think Kansas State, if you start looking at their depth chart, they're just not as deep, and they're also dealing with some injuries. So I love the Cowboys on the road.
I agree. I'd take that.
All right, one of the big national games, Ohio State at Penn State. Ohio State favored by 16 points in this one.
I think that's too many points at Penn State, but I still believe they'll win. But Penn State will be laying for them. Big night for them. I know big noon kickoff. Our Fox team is going there for the game. So I think that's too many points, but I still believe Ohio State will win.
Yeah, I think you're going to have great emotion, a great turnout. It's going to be a whiteout for that game. A lot of people are going to be really excited there at Penn State. But I just think there's too much of a gap when it comes to the talent. I think it may be close early, but I agree with you. I think Ohio State will win this game. I don't know if it'll be by 16 points, but I like Ohio State in that game.
I like C.J. Stroud. He's just gets, every game more and more experience, more and more comfortable. They got such big play guys. I think they're hard to deal with.
Yeah, and if he keeps it up, he may be the 2022 Heisman Trophy winner, C.J. Stroud. All right, Notre Dame at Syracuse. Syracuse played really well for 3 quarters last week against Clemson. Failed to close the game out, though. Only 1 loss on the year. Syracuse favored by 2.5 points at home against 4-3 Notre Dame.
I picked Syracuse. I picked Clemson against Syracuse last week. And if you think about it, the fourth quarter, they have third and extra long, maybe 25. Quarterback's running, backup quarterback, he's running out of bounds, and the guy hits him late. Yep. It's going to be 4th and 20 or 4th and 18. Guy hits them late, gives them a first down, and what do? They end up scoring on that drive, change the whole game. There's like 8-9 minutes to go in the whole fourth quarter. They're up big. They're up 2 scores, 2.5 scores, whatever it was, 18, 16, whatever it was. And the guy hits them late. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So I think Syracuse, without that play, ends up beating Clemson. So I think they're real. I watched some of that game, was very impressed with them. Think they're a real team, and I'd take that. I'd take Syracuse over Notre Dame.
Yeah, I love the way Syracuse played in that game, and it is so sad that it comes down to 1 or 2 of those plays. But you're right, Coach. They were going to get the ball back, all the momentum in the world with that crowd, and just like that.
What were they up? I say, what were they up? 11, 12?
It was 2 possessions. I know it was 2 possessions.
Yeah, it was 2 possessions, and that's it. I mean, they got all the momentum. They're getting the ball back, and the guy hits them late. I just hate plays like that when guys make foolish mistakes.
And if you're a Notre Dame fan, you say, well, maybe there's a little bit of a hangover from that, and just the emotional part of losing a game like that you could win.
Not with Notre Dame showing up. They get everybody's attention, just like we always do.
That's exactly right. That name on the jersey, that decal on the side of the helmet gets everyone's attention. You're exactly right. Okay, Syracuse favored by 2.5. You're going with Syracuse. Now a game you've actually coached in. Florida, Georgia, a rivalry game, unique like OU Texas, where it's played at a off-site facility there in Jacksonville, Florida. But boy, the points in this one. The Gators are an underdog by 23 points against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, this is a great game. It is there's not a state fair around it like the OU Texas, and in OU Texas, they divide the stadium north and south. Florida, Georgia, they divide it east and west. And it's the, what do they call it, the largest cocktail party in America. So
the rock and roll
it's
tequila
fantastic.
will be served.
That's right. I got to go with my Gators. Just that I had spent 3 years with the Gators. The Gators have always been incredible to me. I don't see them winning, but but I believe they'll cover that, would be my opinion.
Yeah, lots of points there in a rivalry game. And again, is it going to be the good Florida team that shows up that played really well against Utah? Or is it going to be the Florida team that can't, keep the football?
I know.
Yeah.
They've been up and down that way and very inconsistent and taking care of the ball and been a big deal. But anyway, Florida people always been incredible to me, and I still keep in touch with Coach Spurrier all the time, who's still part of that program. So I'm gonna go with the Gators covering, but I don't see them winning it.
All right, and a game that is really important to you, the Stoops brothers will be on the road at Tennessee as Kentucky will be taking on arguably the hottest team in the country, your former quarterback, former coach under you, Josh Heupel. I mean, boy, oh boy, everything is looking good for the orange and white this year. They're favored by 13 in this contest, though, against Kentucky.
Yeah, you got to give it to Josh. Good for them. He's done a great job there, great leader. And what a year they're having, and they're good. They're a good football team. I've been able to see them some. So big congrats to the way they're playing, and I love the way my brother Mark and Mike, Kentucky's played well. Quarterback's back last week makes a big difference for them. Anyway, I got to go with Kentucky covering. It's going to be – where's the game at? It's at Tennessee, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to win that one, but you never know. Tennessee may have that little letdown, but I'm going to go with Kentucky covering.
Yeah, my thing on Kentucky, while they may not have all the depth in the world, when they're healthy, they can beat almost anyone in the SEC. And if you look at their track record over the last 3 years, it proves that. And they're healthy this week.
That's right.
I love Kentucky in the points. 13 is a lot of points.
I'm going to go with my brothers to win outright. How's that? I'm going to change my pick.
I like it. 13
They're due
is
for
a
one of those
lot
kind
of
of games.
Yeah, 13 is a lot. All right, so Texas A&M has not had the best week as they have now suspended 3 players according to ESPN. Those are 3 members of their number 1 rated recruiting class from 2022. It is the second time this year they've actually suspended members of the 2022 recruiting class. A&M 3-4 on the year, 4 losses already in 7 games. They're going to be hosting Ole Miss, a team with only 1 loss. Ole Miss favored by only 2 points in this contest. Coach, how do you think this one's going to turn out?
I jump all over Ole Miss on that. Something's wrong in the locker room if you got 3 guys being suspended and you've had multiple suspensions through the year. Then something isn't right. And I've always wondered with NIL money how that's going to affect the locker room. And I'm not saying that's why it's affected their locker room, but they've got guys being suspended for locker room activities, whatever that means or whatever happened there, I don't know. But that's not great team chemistry. And even after losing again, Ole Miss is a good, strong team. I'd take Ole Miss on that.
Yeah, and you think about the dialogue that's going on right now around that program. They're talking about buyouts of $86 million for Coach Fisher. That can't be good when that's the conversation. The other part for me is the team they're playing. Ole Miss lost last week, got embarrassed by LSU, and this is a talented football team from Oxford that's coming to town. So they're going to want to show up and show out in a big way in College Station. I love Ole Miss. I think this line is tiny. Again, Ole Miss only favored by 2 points in that one. I agree with you, Coach, on that one. All right, the final game we're going to talk about, it's a rivalry game. Michigan State at Michigan. Michigan favored big in this one by 23 points.
That's too many points. Michigan, I feel, will win. They're a real team, really good football team. But in a rivalry game, I think that's a little too much.
I agree. I think Michigan is really a good football team. I think it may even look a little strange out there that Michigan may jump out on them early on, but I think late in that game, I think Michigan State will cover because that's just a lot of points in a game like that. And if you need to go look at the last 10 years that they've played together, there haven't been many point spreads like that. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Michigan's really a good football team. give it to Jim Harbaugh. He's back-to-back years here, just really strong teams, and they look good. He had to replace a couple coordinators, and they've replaced them, and they still look good. So in the end, they'll win. I just think that's a few too many points.
It's going to be a great weekend to watch college football from wherever you are in the country. And, Coach, look forward to having you back in the studio next week.
I'll be burning some wood here in Jackson Hole on Saturday, so thank you. And appreciate it, and look forward to being back with you guys.
All right, looking forward to it. And don't forget, for videos anytime, just tap on the video link. For Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen.